Welcome to This, That, and the Third. It's your boy Quincy T. What it be with the beautiful.
Hey, it's Chris Cynthia Kobe, aka the Urban Queen.
Hey, and so basically on our show, what we like to do is talk about a lot about music, movies, television, and sports. So movies and television kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
But that's the this, that, and the third.
The third.
With that being said, some things I kind of want to get off my chest that we probably didn't talk about, in one of the shows or anything like that. But it's been going on for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Ohio State.
Okay.
And you're thinking about like Urban Meyer, all right? And we like to, take a time out to think about, kind of like current events or social issues, stuff like that, and we want to bring that to light. So we always want to be on the right side of history and stuff like that. But on this one, I kind of disagree with what's going on. A lot of the media and people and fans or whatever have been killing Urban Meyer, and unless I know if I'm missing something as far as the evidence or anything like that, I really don't know what Urban Meyer did wrong.
I don't think he did anything wrong either, in a sense, because what I don't like is how the media has taken the spin away from the person that actually did the wrongdoing. So, do anybody even know, what was his name? Kevin, Keith, Kenneth?
I can't remember what his name.
Whoever the actual coach who Urban Meyer did go ahead and fire, we've taken the spotlight away from him, which he's the one who actually did the domestic violence, which domestic violence is huge in America. It's almost something we don't talk about. I know a few shows ago we did a thing about depression. It's kind of like America's best kept secret is domestic violence, which, if anybody don't know the story, give them a little history as far as what's going on with Urban Meyer.
So with the whole domestic violence thing, there's been a lot of things that this coach has been doing, and he's been an assistant coach under Urban Meyer at multiple locations, Florida and now here at Ohio State.
Okay.
All right. So, but he allegedly has hit his wife, beat his wife, or whatever, things like that, and he's also had committed adultery and stuff like that against his wife. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm being nonchalant about this, because I do think domestic violence is a very big deal and something that you should address. What I'm a little bit more nonchalant about is, what is Urban Meyer to do about it? For example, just because he's a college coach at a prominent college, just off of academics alone, but they do have the athletics to go with it. He's a coach at this prominent school, prominent business, if you will, and one of his employees is beating their spouse at home.
Right.
What is he supposed to do? Put an example, you work at Walmart.
Right.
You're a manager at Walmart, because you don't own Walmart.
Right.
You're the manager at Walmart, and one of your sales associates beats their wife at home. You gonna fire your sales associate? All right, you work at AT&T.
Right.
You work at AT&T. You selling iPhones left and right. iPhone 10 coming out, and you're like, hey, you want this new iPhone 10? And then you found out that somehow this employee selling this iPhone 10 beat his wife. You're gonna go over to that transaction and be like, hey, you can't work here anymore.
Right.
That don't make sense to me.
What I don't like about the situation is the repercussions behind it. So, when they were issuing out the sentence for Urban Meyer, one thing that really got me was that one of the people that was on the review board stated that the police investigation wasn't enough, that the police was not sufficient to handle a crime, that Urban Meyer apparently is being held higher than the police officers at this point. Let's face it, everybody got their own families and lives to take care of. There's only so much you can do to intervene in somebody else's life. If he ain't there with him 24/7, outside of the home, outside of work, how is he to know the everyday actions that's going on? I feel like he took the necessary protocols, but I feel like we want to crucify somebody, and because Kevin, Keith, Kenneth, whoever the guy is that beat his wife or whatever domestic violence dispute it was, had already been let go. So Urban Meyer did his job and let him go. But we're crucifying because he didn't let him go quick enough, because he should have basically turned his full-time attention into babysitting this man's relationship with his wife.
Well, so I'll go a little bit further than that, because I don't know if Urban Meyer's job was to let him go because he beat his wife. And that's where I have the disagreement.
Okay.
Right? So my thing is this: when we talk about Urban Meyer and what he was supposed to do with this employee or this coach or whatever the case may be, unless this dude is doing it on campus,
right,
in the locker room, It could be the bookstore or whatever.
During a work environment.
During a work environment, right. Exactly. I don't understand. Like, am I supposed to fire him for this? This has nothing to do with A. Does not have anything to do with B.
Now, what I will say is that because of the situation, you do have certain clauses in businesses, and even like in corporate America, you may not play a big role in a company, but there is like Texas is fired at will state, so you can get fired anytime, whatever. But if there's any point where you make the company look bad, they'll let you go. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the whole media world knew or not about the first time that the guy had did the whole domestic violence thing against his wife. It was brought to the police's attention. Urban Meyer gave him a warning. Mm-hmm. So when the evidence appeared the second time, Urban Meyer let him go. Right. So I feel like the job that he needed to do was done, but I'm just gonna face it. My boss don't need to be coming to my house telling me what I can and cannot do in my home. So it's gonna be, I can't discipline my kid. I can't whip my kid if they've been, bad or, being disrespectful, doing stuff like that. I can't put them in timeout because it's not okay with you. It's my boss's job to come to my house. So my boss can trespass on my property to come and intervene and stuff that's going on, which kind of turns me off in a sense when it comes to just getting involved into any type of altercation that you see going on. Exactly. And the fact that Urban Meyer didn't see these things, they're getting reported. So there's some things they're saying it's getting reported through hearsay. So his wife knew about the information. So should she have lost her job or whatever she do? I don't know if the lady works or not. Yeah. But let's just say if she was working, at a job, should she have gotten fired too?
That's what I'm saying. So like,
everybody who the wife confided in should have lost their job or whatever company it was at.
And I just feel like it's not right to have somebody lose their job because of personal matters. It's kind of like when Mark Cuban, I don't know a lot of people know about this, Mark Cuban was talking about Donald Sterling when Donald Sterling was saying those kind of racial epithets or racial things in the confines of his own home. Right. And he just got recorded. Like, you really going to take a team away from somebody who's saying something in his own home? Right. Now, Donald Sterling had a lot of other stuff in the background or whatever that, for years and years that was not right and that was kind of racial bias and stuff like that.
It's basically like the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. But it's kind of like that's why you getting rid of him. He didn't call somebody the N-word in a work environment. He said something in the confines of his own home. It's also similar when you're talking about being held to a higher standard. Right. It's Columbus, Ohio again, but with Ezekiel Elliott and also the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott gets, allegedly beat this girl or whatever, and come to find out that
there's a lot of different things that went into that.
There's a lot of gray areas, a lot of things that she was trying to set him up on or whatever, and he could have hit her. So I'm not gonna say he never did hit or anything like that. But the police dropped the case twice on both events. They said there was domestic abuse on both sides. Right. They dropped the case twice, and then the NFL
years later,
suspends him 6 games. Because it looks like he may have did something. Like, really? Who are you?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that, one, you taking on past events. So nobody is by any means perfect. The fact that you can go back to a person's past and punish them for something later on in the future. That is already have gone through a justice process. Right. So be it. So let's just, now I'm not saying like you commit a crime and then get found out and then later on you get in trouble. Of course that needs to happen. But if it's gone through the proper channels, then why is another entity coming and punishing me again for it? That's almost like beating a dog for peeing on the floor 3 days ago because you just now finding out. He don't know why you beating him. You just beating him just because. So the behavior, the crime doesn't fit necessarily the punishment. Exactly. And then also just to kind of clarify and just let everybody know, we know domestic violence is a two-way street.
Completely two-way street.
It's a two-way street, and I'm not putting the blame 50-50 on the people that's in the incident, but it's on a two-way street because you never know what causes the domestic violence or what causes you not to leave a domestic violence type of situation. So, just putting that out there. We don't know the whole dynamics of the whole relationship of things that's going on. We can only take what the media presents us. And right now, the media is crucifying somebody who did their job versus the actual person, that's involved in this type of act.
And I do also want to state that, like I said, we do take the domestic violence things very serious. So if you are in a situation by any stretch of the means, in domestic violence, you need to seek help. Right. And when I say seek help, call a friend, call a neighbor, call the police, call the pastor at the church, call whoever, call somebody to seek guidance and to seek help to remove you from that situation.
Right.
Because nobody should ever be
okay putting their hands on you.
Exactly.
And man or woman.
Man or woman. Right. If a woman is beating a man, call for help. It does not make you weak. It's actually one of the strongest things you can do. If a woman is getting beat by any case of me, it could be woman on woman, woman on man, or whatever the case may be. Call for help. So, like I said, domestic violence is a very serious thing, and we take this issue very serious. However, when we talk about these things that we talked about today, it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people were going overboard or whatever. But like again, like I said, you're in a situation like that, please seek help. That's just something that we were talking about. This, that, and the third. Again, I'm Quincy Thomas. This is
Cynthia Covey, aka the Urban Queen.
And we'll be looking forward to you. All right.
See you guys later.